happened?
Hey, watch out, man, watch out.
10:30, a man with a gun up here, 4 circle. Okay, listen, we can work this out, partner, okay? All I want to do is just get the people outside, please.
Where's it at? Where's it at?
It's right there.
Come on, come on!
I'm plugged in. I'm trying to.
You need to get out of the way. Keep your hands by your sides!
I'm still here.
Go on.
It was a beautiful Saturday in Dallas, Texas, when the nightmare of all calls went out to police officers in the bustling city. There was an active shooter at the Methodist Dallas Medical Center. Gunfire had been exchanged between a man and hospital police in the mother and child ward of the building. Multiple casualties were reported. The suspect was within one of the rooms, and it looked as if a hostage situation could be developing. Join us as we look into the violence, the loss, and the sacrifice and heroism of that fateful day. Before we begin, we would like to extend our deepest sympathies to the family and friends of Jacqueline Paqua and Katie Annette Flowers, who lost their lives that fateful day. Let's start a bit earlier and take a look at the young couple. As a pair, they had been on-again, off-again partners for almost 8 years. Nestor Oswaldo Hernandez and Selena Villatoro had met in 2014. Nestor had just served a 2-year stint in prison for simple robbery. The two hit it off, and she kind of fell into his lifestyle. A year later, the pair would be arrested for and convicted of aggravated robbery. The robbery involved a woman who ended up with her hands taped together, her eyes taped shut, and her car being stolen along with $3,000 in cash she had been collecting at a fundraising event. The couple would be caught later still driving the woman's car and still holding on to a number of the victim's possessions. The two were intoxicated, and Selena would admit that earlier in the evening she had injected heroin. Each of the two would plead guilty to robbery charges, with Nestor getting 8 years and Selena getting a 5-year sentence. Selena would get out of prison first, followed a year later by Nestor, who was paroled just 6 years into his sentence. The two would rekindle their rocky relationship, and Selena would get pregnant. Nestor would have a couple of issues during his parole, once getting into a vehicle accident that was his fault, and the second time, more seriously, was caught trying to cut off the ankle monitor he was required to wear. Still, even with those violations, Nestor remained out on parole. On the morning of his new son's birth, he was given special permission by the parole officer to visit Selena and the child at the hospital. Texas law requires that a parolee get permission to visit another felon. The hospital police department was also notified that he would be visiting. That morning, Nestor would get dressed up, hop into his SUV, and head over to the hospital. After getting lost for a bit, he stopped at a convenience store and bought a 24-ounce can of Steel Reserve spiked watermelon malt liquor. He would enter the hospital carrying the open can. But that wasn't all he was carrying. Concealed upon his body was a small .380 Smith & Wesson Guardian pistol. As a convicted felon and someone on parole, he should not have been in possession of a firearm, and in no way was it legal for him to enter the hospital with that weapon. And yet, he did both, as if it was nothing, even stopping at the nurse's station to use hand sanitizer and to pick up a face mask before going into Selena's room. In short order, the volatile and intoxicated Nestor would begin arguing, then fighting with Selena, who had just given birth a short time before. During the argument, Nestor would pistol whip Selena across the head and neck a number of times. And then, healthcare worker Jackie Paqua would open the door and enter the room as part of her regular rounds checking on new mothers and their babies. A shot rings out, muffled by the heavy door leading into the hospital room. Out in the hall, Sergeant Robert Rangel was waiting to speak to another family who had reported some items missing from their belongings. His body cam recorder had been turned on as part of a procedure to take the report from them. He turns, and all hell breaks loose.
What happened?
Hey, watch out, man, watch out.
What's 10 dispatch? Got emergency traffic. Go 10:30, a man with a gun up here,
Nestor apparently decides to make a break for it and tries to leave the room. Sergeant Rangel fires once, striking Nestor in the leg.
All I could see was a black pistol.
You see it right now?
No. He walked in the room. He was coming out. I believe he had the gun in his hand. I shot one time and he went back in the room.
Sergeant Rangel knows that there are still people in the room, as well as almost every other room on this floor. There are medical workers trying desperately to save the life of a nurse who went past him, and countless others in harm's way. He has to negotiate, delay, and keep the shooter engaged in anything except more gunfire.
Okay, listen, we can work this out, partner, okay? All I want to do is just get the people outside, please.
Thanks to Sergeant Rangel's quick call to dispatch and numerous 911 calls, police have already started to arrive at the scene. Over the next few minutes, more than a dozen officers will begin flocking to the hospital, heading upstairs to the Schenkel Tower on the 4th floor.
Bravo 40 running 4th floor. Hey, where did you hear the shootings?
40, repeat, you're breaking up.
Stand by. ¿A dónde? ¿A dónde? Hey, where's it at? Where's it at? Where's it at?
It's right here. Come on, rush it down.
Where?
That way.
Bravo for 40. I'm gonna need a shield on 4th floor. Bravo for 40. Does anybody have a 40 millimeter?
We don't need a shield.
Yeah, and a shield.
Where's the shield?
Hey, is he up there? Do you have eyes on him?
Use cover.
Hey, do we have eyes on that guy?
Walk out with your hands up. Move up.
Hey, flat. Hey, go to the right hand side. Hey, this unit needs to come to the right.
Keep coming to the hallway.
Hey, get some cover.
We got a funnel here.
Hey, does this wrap around? Does it wrap around?
The officers need to find a way to flank Nestor's position in the room, but the hospital was designed for efficiency and privacy of the patients. Adrenaline is running high as it becomes apparent that there is only one way in or out of where Nestor is located. They are going to have to go through that door and try to incapacitate him before he can harm anyone else. The breaching team moves into position.
Alright. You see where that sergeant's at? I don't know if you can keep an eye on it. Who has the 40 mil? Hey, stand by.
Leave the slammer.
Hey,
Leave the slammer. Stay light. We'll call it up. We'll call up the slammer if we need it. Hey, shield coming up, guys. Hey, we got a shield coming up. Slow it down, guys.
slow down.
Shield's up.
Hey, Sarge, get out of the way.
Sarge, come here.
Do you see him?
He's falling out past her.
Okay, get the female out first.
Female, get the lady out.
Get the female out. Where are you?
Come out. Arrest team. I'll be arrest team.
Come out of the room right now. Come out of the room.
Get gloves on. Let's go. Keep your hands where we can see them.
Come out of the room.
Come on.
I'm plugged in. I'm trying to.
All right. Keep your hands by your sides. Okay, I'm moving in.
Hey, is this the...
Come on,
Get out of the way. Can you move, ma'am?
I'm trying.
You got gloves? I got gloves. Let's move in. Let's here are my cuffs. Cuff the guy first. All right, guys, ready? Rifles move past. Watch them.
Step.
Hey, does this room connect? No, it does not.
My
I need one nurse. One
Nurse!
One nurse.
You're all out!
Okay, at least we need a surgeon or something, okay? Bravo 440, we have a suspect in custody. Start PES and start homicide as well.
Coming out, guys, coming out.
Hey, get him down. Hey, who got a...
They are able to bring the baby out, as well as Nestor, both alive. The child is miraculously unharmed.
Hold on, let's get him out first. Stand by.
Yeah, nurse. Come out, guys, come out.
Hey, whose car's gonna be placed in? Okay. Hey.
Hey, which leg, bro? Yeah, I'm already on it.
Bravo 440, we're gonna need to shut down the entire fourth floor and labor and delivery. Officers at the entrance of the fourth floor.
Up top, all the way up top, all the way up top. All the way up top.
They're moving this out of the way so they can get to them.
Hey, officer down, kids. Look at officer down, kid.
Yeah, I got one.
Here. Hey, do me a favor. Let's secure this.
What do y'all need? Somebody with shears.
I just want to confirm it's suspect in custody. Suspect in custody, 1120.
Rouse, you're making the calls?
In the aftermath, it becomes a race to make sure that the mother and child are unhurt and that Nestor has been taken into emergency surgery. No matter what the man did, the medical team will do their best to try to save his life. The weight of their two co-workers lays over the entire team as Jackie lies dead in the room and Katie Annette was unable to be saved from the mortal wound she had received. Police now have to contend with protecting the crime scene while workers continue to relocate other patients and their families that had been trapped on the floor during the shootout and siege. Downstairs, the hospital entrances have been sealed off by police and the building is on lockdown and in emergency mode. Doctors with special skills in emergency medicine from all over the facility are being called to assist in the emergency rooms. It's not just doctors and nurses headed to the ER, but police officers from the hospital's own department and the city police force. They stand guard to make sure that no one else will fall into the teeth of this day. Nestor goes into emergency care for the gunshot wound.
All right, clean your arms, press your back. Do what you can.
Come on!
Hey, stop! Yes, because you lost hold. Stop. Here, I'll get back. I have your phone in my pocket. Hey, that NSR alarm. Thank you.
Can't put the wire.
I need that. No, I'm fine with that.
Back upstairs, the homicide detectives have arrived and forensic teams aren't far behind. They've got a lot of work ahead of them to secure the scene, move people out of the rooms past it, and to attempt to protect the dignity of the victims of this crime. At some point, what they do here could be brought into court, and even the smallest error in their work could mean the difference in the outcome of the trial. And then, it's over, at least for now. The police officers return back to their duties or go to make out the necessary reports. The hospital staff has to keep caring for their patients, including the one who killed two of their own, and the city of Dallas is now getting wind of what happened that day.
In Dallas, a defined active shooter inside a Dallas hospital. Two medical workers inside Methodist Dallas Medical Center are dead, both killed by a lone gunman who entered the North Oak Cliff Hospital earlier this morning. Police telling us that the person who shot and killed those workers has been caught.
The families of Jackie and Annette would be receiving calls and visits with the terrible news that they had lost someone they loved deeply and who had done so much for the people of Dallas throughout their lives. Nestor Hernandez would remain at the Methodist Hospital for 4 days, recovering from the gunshot wound to his leg before being transferred to Holding to await trial. He would return to a jail cell clad in a hospital gown and using a walker to move around. It would take almost 2 years before he saw his day in court. Selena Villatoro would also testify, along with Sergeant Robert Rangel, who by this time had been recognized for valor by the state of Texas for his actions on that day. Selena would be asked how Nestor was acting when he first came into the hospital room.
I thought he was just drunk. That's why he was like being sentimental. Like I didn't really think nothing of it.
Did he appear to you to be drunk or intoxicated at that time?
Oh, yes, sir.
What was it about him that made you feel like he was intoxicated?
I mean, just the way he was talking. Just, he was crying, talking to him.
She would explain that when Nestor drank, he would often get sentimental and cry. This time, though, he shifted quickly from sadness to anger and jealousy.
After, I guess, he gets done talking to them, I think I hear like the doors like from the closets opening. Like he's like opening the closet door, slamming them, and then next thing I know, he like throws the little sliding like desk that they have right there. He throws it and then he like hits me in my head with the gun, and he was telling me like just I don't know, just I think he told me like who's here or something like that.
She would go on to say that prior to him throwing the table, she had accidentally knocked over his beer, spilling it everywhere. He became angry, and she pulled the sheet over her head as he raged.
So he indicated that you had the sheet over your head and he began to hit you in the head with the gun. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Did you know when he had entered the hospital and specifically into your room that he had a gun at that point?
No, sir.
Did you see where he pulled the gun from?
No, sir.
Okay. You just felt him hitting you with the gun?
Yes, sir.
Do you recall how many times he struck you with the gun?
I think the first time just once.
Okay.
Just once.
Is he making any statements while this is happening? Is he saying anything to you?
I think he was just like saying like that he had told me to stop playing with him, and he was just telling me stuff like that we're gonna die today.
Selena would suffer a laceration to her head from the pistol whipping, as well as bruising to her neck. The pistol, a small and easily concealed one, was lightweight and probably contributed to the relatively small amount of damage she took in the assault.
So just going back to when the defendant is assaulting you with the gun, he's hitting you with the gun, and he's making these statements about killing you all and killing anybody else who comes inside the room. Was the door open or closed at that time? Do you remember?
It was closed.
Okay. And so at some point, did somebody else come inside the room while Nestor has the gun?
Oh, yes, sir.
Okay. Who was that?
One of the nurses, though, I think she was supposed to come in and check on me or something.
Okay.
She came in, and that's when Nestor walked up and went behind her and I shot her.
Okay.
Jackie fell over backwards and died almost immediately after being shot. She may have never known that she was in any danger. Let's move over to the testimony offered by Nestor at this moment. In his own story prior to this, he had said that he thought Selena had been cheating on him and was wondering if someone had been hiding in the room. He explained that he had the pistol on him at the time because he had made arrangements with someone to sell it later in the day. He said that he had come to the hospital at her request to sign the birth certificate.
Tell the jury what happened once you got inside that room that changed the whole situation. Could you tell them what took place?
Okay, well, I walked in. My son, he was asleep in the bassinet. I went in there, rubbed his belly. I was like, "Hey, little man," and so I went and I walked into the restroom. I used the restroom. I walked out. I proceeded to walk out. I started looking for the gun, right? I started looking for the gun. She was like, "What you looking for?" I said, "The gun." And she was like, "Why?" And I said, "I got it sold." I said, I talked to dude last night. He wants to buy it. And so she's like, all right. So I'm on my phone also, you know what I'm saying? Like she said, she said sentimental. I don't want to sound sentimental. I'm more expressionate or something. You know, I like telling people that, I love them and stuff. And I'll drink a little bit or do some drugs. I'm like, hey, man, I love you, man. You know, I'm glad you're in my life type of thing. You got the aggressive people and then you got the lovers, I guess, or whatever. And so...
So when you're sitting there having this conversation, could you tell the jury what it was that made her start pulling the blanket over and refusing to talk to you?
I don't recall her putting the blanket over her head.
You don't recall her pulling the blanket over her head?
No.
What do you recall happening when you were having this conversation with her?
I ended up sitting down, and I was like, man, get the gun and stuff. And so I was like, so I'm about to sign this birth certificate and leave. And so I'm texting my brother. My brother called me. I talked to him briefly, my nieces and stuff. We started talking. She tried to talk to me. I was like, shut the fuck up, don't talk to me, you know what I'm saying, woo woo. And she's like, oh no, she's like, man, you're drinking and woo woo woo. And I was like, I don't want to hear it, man. I was like, I ain't been drinking like that. And she's like, no, you drinking, woo. And I was like, man, shut up. I was like, don't even talk to me. She was like, nah, you're not supposed to be in here drinking, woo. I was like, don't nobody even know this is a beer. And it looks like a Arizona or something. And she's like, nah, man. She's like, man, they're gonna come in here and see and whatever. And so I was like, bro, I don't even talk to me, bro. I said, yeah, you really nasty. And she was like, what you mean nasty? I said, yeah, you really nasty, you know what I'm saying? And she was like, well, and I said, man, my shit hurt, bro. I'm just signing this birth certificate and I'm finna leave. I said, man, nigga,
Nestor would then tell the court he told Selena that he knew she had cheated on him because he had contracted a sexually transmitted disease and it had to come from her.
And so she's like, nah, man. She's like, I ain't fucking nobody and da-da-da. And so she gets on her phone, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, yeah, you need to tell whoever you been fucking with that you got that shit, you passing out that shit. And she was...
So what are you talking about?
I never had an STD before that. So, I mean, I knew it was something wrong. I didn't know exactly what it was.
Well,
but it was...
You do something wrong?
When I urinate, it hurts, yeah.
So you're talking about her messing with somebody else, telling her that she needs to tell people that she's probably giving them STDs too?
Yeah, because she ended up getting on the phone. I was like, you need to be calling them people and letting them know you passing out that shit.
And what happened as a result of this conversation?
You said what happened to the result?
Tell me what happened next after y'all are having this conversation.
The nurse, she walks in. So she walks in and Selena, she gets up and she's like, hey, I need to use the restroom. So when she gets up, I get up with her.
You can see how Nestor began to craft his story and his lack of personal responsibility as it continues to grow.
Are you talking about the woman that ended up getting shot?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you guys are having this conversation. It's going on. Up to that point in time, have you ever threatened that you were going to kill Selena? Or?
No, sir. No, sir.
Did you ever threaten to Selena that you were going to kill anybody coming in that room?
No.
Did you have any intention of harming anybody?
No, I didn't.
Tell the jury what happened, and you just described how you got to the point where the nurse came in the room. Selena wants to go to the restroom. Tell the jury what happened next.
Well, she gets up and I get up with her, and she's walking. No, when the nurse came in, she said, good afternoon or good evening, and I said it back. And Selena gets up and she's like, I need to use the restroom. She had told the nurse, I need to use the restroom, but I got up with her. And so I was like, why you need to go to the restroom with your phone? And she's like, because and then the nurse asked, is everything okay? And I was like, yeah, everything's okay. And then she said, no, it's not. She's like, I don't want him here. This ain't even his baby. So I slapped her. So when I slapped her, the nurse was like, oh. And so then Selena hit me and we got into whenever I got up, I had the pistol on me too. You know what I'm saying? I had it. She ended up, before that, Selena had handed me the pistol. And so I had the pistol right here. It's a little pistol. So when I got up holding it too. And she hit me, and so, I kind of like, I had the pistol in my hand. I don't think the nurse knew I had the pistol in my hand. And so we got into like a little brawl or whatever, and that's when I hit her. I ended up hitting her with the pistol. And that's when the nurse, she was like, stop. She got in between us. And my shirt, the black shirt that I had on, it was already kind of like over me. It was already like, cause she was like putting on the shirt too. And so the gun went off. That's what.
And who was pulling on your shirt?
Selena. Okay. But the nurse tried to stop the fight. She got in between us, and she yelled stop. She's like, stop. And next you know, the gun went off. And we stopped. Everything slowed down. I was kind of confused for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And the first thing that Selena said, she was like, "What did you do?" And I was like, "No, man, it's your fault. This is your fault." You know what I'm saying? Because the nurse, she was kind of like leaning forward, and then she ended up falling back. Boom.
Did you intentionally shoot this nurse? Or?
No.
Nestor would claim that he did not point the gun at Jackie. He would contend that the gun just went off and that she was an unintended victim. He was then asked what happened next. What was his explanation for the shootings that would follow?
What's the next thing you recall happening at that time?
I panicked. I panicked. I was like, shit. And Selena, she started screaming. She's like, oh, man. I couldn't even understand what she was saying. And I opened up the door, and I opened up the door, like with my right hand, I opened up the door, and I shot out the door. Boom, boom, twice. I shot the door twice.
Did you see anybody outside the door when you shot?
No, I didn't even look outside. I just shot.
What was the purpose of that?
I was so panicked. I just shot somebody. You know what I mean? I was real panicked. It was like how can I say this? Like a example would be like if my mom or like somebody's mom has like a favorite coffee mug that she drinks coffee with every morning, and you drop it and you break it, and when you broke it, you panic. You're like, oh, and your mom's like, hey, what was that? And so you don't want her to see. You know what I mean? Like you don't want her to see. You just panic, and I try to like, I guess, make another distraction or something. I wasn't I wasn't thinking right. Like, you know what I'm saying? I just wasn't. No, I didn't even see the second nurse in the hallway.
It doesn't matter whether he saw Annette Flowers in the hallway. His bullet struck her anyway, and her life began bleeding away as the man became more desperate and frantic.
So I went back, the nurse laying on the floor, Selena, she's screaming, she's like, oh my gosh, and so it's all hectic. I'm kind of panicking, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, shit. And so Selena, she said, get help. And so I turned around. When I turned around, I walked out the door. I tried to walk out the door. I felt the heat just through my leg. Boom. And I stepped back. I jumped back into the room, and I looked down, and I was like, they shot me.
And then, in his testimony, Nestor would show the kind of person he really was.
By now, Selena has the baby. She had grabbed the baby at this time, and she's holding the baby. And I'm like, hey, give me the baby. And she was like, no. And I'm like, give me the baby, man. I was like, man, give me the baby, man. Give me the baby. Put him in the crib. Because the crib, the bassinet, is by the restroom. And so I'm thinking, I was like, man, look, they're about to come in here and start shooting, man. They're about to shoot us. And she's like, no.
What did you ask her to give you the baby for?
I wanted to put him in the bassinet and put him by the restroom, because I was like, man, they about to come in. They already shot me. They about to come in here and start shooting.
What happened at that point?
I started feeling the pain. At first I didn't feel the pain, but now I'm feeling it. I'm like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, And so I went around the bed. I don't know if I sat down in the closet or I sat down in front of the closet. And I was like, shit. And Selena's like, she steady screaming. And she's like, what the fuck? This lady, she right there. I was like, man, shut up. I was like, shut up. So I'm like, I'm sitting there, and I'm like, man, I said, man, I'm about to just go out there. I'm gonna just let them kill me, man. I said, all right. And she was like, what? I was like, I'm not going back. You know And so I was like, I'm not finna spend the rest of my life in jail.
And yet, he would give himself up. Would he have used the baby as a shield? Thankfully, he was never given a chance, as the police would swarm into the room and immediately incapacitate him. Selena was left screaming in the room, the bassinet nearby covered in blood. On the stand, Sergeant Rangel would offer his own take on what happened that day. He explained that he happened to be on the floor that day at the time for a completely unrelated matter and just happened to be a couple of doors down when the shooting started. When it first rang out, he said, it sounded exactly like a light bulb had popped somewhere. But the next 2 shots fired out the door of the room left no doubt as to what happened. He saw the wounded nurse come by, blood drops on the floor, and moved into position where he had a better angle and a very slight amount of cover. And then Nestor tried to emerge from the room.
At that point, it's kind of like time had really slowed down. I mean, probably hadn't, but at that time I had already made a decision within myself that a nurse had been shot, and I only knew about one at that time. And I told myself, I'm the only one up here right now. I would glance to see if McCrail or Jaime Hinojosa had made their way up to the floor, but at that point they hadn't. So my mind is telling me, if he comes out of the room empty-handed, I'm going to tell him to, keep his hands up and get up on the floor. And I told myself, if he came out with a pistol, I only had one option, and that was to make sure that he didn't get out past the room with a gun.
Okay, so what did you do?
When I saw him and he was looking out of the room, he had the pistol, and I fired one time at his leg.
Why did you fire at that time?
Because I fired at that time because I feared for my life. I feared that if he came out of the room, that he was going to try to shoot more people.
And it is most likely that if Sergeant Rangel had not taken that shot, or worse, not been there at all, Nestor Hernandez could well have shot his way out of the hospital, potentially taking more lives on the way. In the end, Nestor was unable to sway anyone to believe that he was in any way innocent. A jury would find him guilty of 2 counts of capital murder. He would be sentenced to life in prison without any chance at parole. At the sentencing, family and friends of the 2 murdered women would speak in court.
Annette devoted her life to taking care of people, just like Jackie did. Everyone in healthcare does. We vow to serve others, even scum like you. After you wreaked havoc that day and stole 2 beautiful souls who undoubtedly were better human beings and more deserving of life than you will ever be, they still saved your life. I hope every day for the rest of your miserable life, you are haunted by their names, faces, and the legacy that you cut short. Although you don't care about any of that, you've shown no remorse for anything.
On that day, Nestor Hernandez ended or ruined countless lives. The 2 women killed had loving families and large networks of friends and co-workers. And without a doubt, his actions will have repercussions throughout Selena's life and that of his newborn son. And in the end, did he ruin his own life? It might be hard to find anyone who would care about that. Jackie Paqua had worked in the social services department at Methodist Medical Center and had received her master's degree in social work from the University of Texas at Arlington. A native of Ghana, she had moved to the United States more than 20 years earlier, but maintained a strong relationship with her family back home. The 45-year-old woman left behind a son. Annette Flowers was 63 years old at the time of the shooting and had worked for 40 years as an RN specializing in working with mothers and their babies. A single mother of 4 herself, she also left behind 4 grandchildren, not to mention all of the lives she had helped to usher in through her long career.